Here we go, day 16. We are in the midst of the hashtag 2020 Gave Me campaign. And each day I'm talking about a gift that 2020 gave me, and I'm sharing it with you. And my hope is that each of these 21 gifts can make an impact in your life, the lives of those who you love and lead, and that together we can have a 2021 that takes us to a higher level of just comfort and success and intentionality and all the things that go along with coming out of 2020. The 16th gift that 2020 gave me is the gift of character. Countless times last year, the going felt rough. The uncertainty felt very real. The pain of the journey often felt like it was mounting up, and sometimes it manifested itself often for days on end. Sometimes it felt overwhelming. And yet I knew that I alone was responsible for the choice that I would make of how to handle each and every one of those challenges. My personal responsibility had been honed and crafted for decades as a business owner with highs and lows, as a husband who had highs and lows, including the loss and death of his wife, and as a parent of two young men that had to go through that same journey. And I had to choose responsibly. I had to become a responsible parent, husband, business owner, and obviously person. I remember when I was in college, I took a psychology course, and it was entitled Self-Leadership. I learned that no matter what happens in your life, you must lead yourself through it and eventually out of it. It's actually 100% your responsibility. I developed this mindset and produced the first of many mantras I would use on my journey. It was this one that I recalled going through 2020. Todd, everything that is happening or is not happening in your life that you want to have happen or you don't want to have happen is your responsibility. It is your choice. We all have options, and mindset has much to do with how we approach those options, especially when it feels like things are not going our way. My dad helped me with this early after I graduated from college and I began my business career. In one of our thousands of Sunday night chats, I told them that I had had a rough week. My dad was sympathetic, but also knew the truth about me from a perspective I didn't have. He said to me, "Son, Duncans have grit. We can get through anything." Wow. That became an operating code for me. I began to see that every hard situation throws at us a challenge. Pain? Yeah. Paralyzing? Maybe. Progress? Yes, if you have the character of grit. The pain and the paralyzing and the progress are all wrapped up in the choice of self-leadership. And that word grit, the character of grit. In a very, very real way, the no pain, no gain phrase presents truth and simultaneously lays down the challenge. There will be no gain unless on some level there is pain. It's all, however, in the perception. I'm obsessed with study. I love learning. I love winning. I think the two are connected. I had a moment early when I had started the Duncan Group, my mortgage training company, in 1992, where I would be really tested. We'd been operating for about 7 months and had not received one training contract from this industry. I was burning through cash and I had committed 1 year of working this plan, and we had 3 months to go. One day I felt it was like getting overwhelming. I started to lose faith. I decided to check out for the afternoon, and I went to the beach and I sat in my chair and I stared at the ocean for, I think, hours. It kept coming back to me over and over and over again. That same phrase my father shared with me. Duncans have grit. We can get through anything. I think the human spirit is we can get through anything. High challenges, low challenges, difficult challenges, less difficult challenges, but challenges nevertheless. We all at some level as humans have grit because we all at some level have to survive. We want to survive and ultimately we want to thrive. Words from my father 12 years earlier, though, it didn't sync up with me then that it just came flowing back. It just came flowing back. And it was in that moment that I had a kind of a reset and I developed another mantra, if you will, while sitting at the beach watching the waves. And my new mantra was, if we have grit, then it's never a matter of if, it's only when. It's never a matter of if, it's only when. So with that resolve, I went back to the office, I bore down on our efforts, and in the next 90 days, we received over $900,000 in new contracts. Today, 28 years later, we're still going. We have millions of students and clients around the globe, and I can say with certainty that without grit, we would have failed. And that would be sad knowing now what we've been able to do because we had grit. I'm super big on perception. I've been finding stories and filing them for decades. I have thousands and thousands of things I've clipped and copied and saved. This is from an article I found on failure from a guy named Joe Weldon. Remember, he says, success and progress is all about mindset. Specifically, he says, never see failure as failure, but only as a learning experience. What did you do right? Never see failure as failure, but only as the feedback you need to change direction. Like a guided missile, use that new data to get yourself back on course. Never see failure as failure, but only as an opportunity to develop your sense of humor. You can laugh eventually, so laugh sooner. Never see failure as failure, but only as a part of the game you must play to win. And use every seeming failure as a source of strength. That's grit. I think one of the most important things that we can learn is to create our own healthy perception of where we are at any stage of living. Last year, no different. This year, no different. We are humans. We're going to have setbacks, but our failures are not our future. Our difficult times are not our tomorrows. Everything worth achieving will not come easily. Getting through challenges is always difficult, but with grit on your side, you can, you will, and you must get through the valley if you're ever going to get to the peak. And so the question that I would like for you to ponder today is this question: where would a healthier perspective and a little bit more grit get you to a better place in some area or areas of your life? If you had just a little bit more focus, a little bit more energy, a little bit more strength, faith in one more step or another mile, what would you do that right now you're not demonstrating that personal responsibility and that high level of grit? I know right now as I record this and coming into the studio that I had 6 things I wrote down that were my own answer to the question of the day that I'm giving you. So grit. You are responsible for your outcomes in life. 2020 taught us that we've got to be strong and we've got to take responsibility. So have fun with this question today, and I'll be back with you tomorrow with gift number 17.